It's about 1 a.m. right now, April 30th, 2018. I've been sitting here at my computer for about an hour and a half, 2 hours now, just kind of talking to the microphone, thinking over how I can kind of make this sound professional and really laid out and thought out and linear. But none of that's really worked so far. I've kind of written out some kind of mock scripts and kind of played around with that, but it doesn't really feel right. It doesn't feel authentic or natural. So I kind of, out of frustration, decided that I would just kind of do this little off take and just kind of see how monologuing and kind of just flowing into the mic kind of works and just seeing what kind of comes out of that. But, this is kind of me talking about my experiences of being a local Vermont filmmaker and, my kind of journey from where I used to be, when I was a little kid until, kind of coming into where I am now. And overall, really just what filmmaking means to me as a person. So kind of not lingering on this any much longer, gonna go ahead and dive in. I was born at the Moortown Hospital here in, suburban Vermont around May 4th of 2001 at 8:01 p.m. Nothing really exciting about that. I was born to some really loving and amazing parents and, really loving and supporting family. And, I really couldn't have asked for a better upbringing, but, I still went through some tough stuff. I was never really much of a social kid. My parents, I loved them, but, they were different people, and they ended up kind of splitting apart around, the age of 3, which, wasn't a big deal, probably for the best. I had some really good friends as a kid, and I still have some really good friends now, people that I really, confide in, but I wasn't a very social kid. I was a bit more withdrawn, and, kind of just, kind of in my own little world, a lot of the time, which is, it's kind of funny because, they say that, the cells live and die, and, they kind of reform and all that, in the human body at a very rapid rate. So, I think they say like every 5 years, all the cells that used to make up you have died off and been replaced by new cells, which I find really interesting because, I hear all these stories from when I was a kid, and, all these, kind of wacky, little crazy things that I did. And, it doesn't really resonate with me. It feels like I'm kind of looking through a one-sided mirror like a whole different person. I don't know if that's like personal growth or if that's something completely different, but, it's kind of food for thought. But, kind of moving past that, I was always very creative as a kid. I always loved to create and, tell stories and, really just express myself through creative means. But, I didn't really know what to do with that creativity. I like to write little stories and I tell little stories and stuff, but, it wasn't very fulfilling to me. And, I tried drawing, but of course, I didn't have the best penmanship, my hand being all shaky and all that. So, I kind of felt very, I didn't feel very motivated by that. So I kind of gave up on that early on. So, a lot of what I did early on was through storytelling. I remember me and my friends sitting around a rug or a table, just playing Dungeons and Dragons. We didn't have like the books, we didn't have anything like that. We just kind of used our imaginations and some dice to kind of just make up these stories. And that was really big to me. That was like probably some of my most fond childhood memories. But, I think that kind of resonated with me later in life, just that kind of, exploring, ideas and kind of just playing around with that. Filmmaking and film in general was really a big part of my life early on. I have a grandfather that's really big in the local Vermont filmmaking community around here, and I think, honestly, probably the person that really got me to pursue film in the first place. And that was huge to me. That was a really huge part of my life, so I know you're probably here right now, so thank you, Papa. Thank you, Nat. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I was always exposed to film, and I was always exposed to media, but I never really felt like I had the skill set or the drive to really pursue that, so it almost felt like it wasn't really an option. So, I kind of just gave up on that thought early on and just really pursued things I felt were practical. I always loved video games as a kid, so I thought, I'll become like a game designer. That could be fun. It seems like a good time. So that's kind of what I did, for, maybe like 5 or 10 years as a kid. I kind of just, tried to learn programming, and I tried to, make little games on, Scratch, and I made little Flash games. It was fun. I even took some, game making classes in high school, because I thought that seemed fun, but, it wasn't fulfilling. It was creative for sure, but I don't know, just something about kind of like sitting down and just kind of programming for hours and tapping away keys. It didn't feel really rewarding. So, I pursued that, but it never really felt like I was in it. I didn't really feel any of me, when I was sitting there, making these little games. But, I really had my first exposure to film again through my grandfather, who had brought up this program at Bain called Main Media Workshops. And, I was kind of skeptical at first because I was like, that seems a little crazy. I don't want to spend all this money on me going to like a workshop out in Maine that, I may or may not enjoy. But he insisted. So, I kind of went through with it, and, I went on another program as well. But, I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was a really eye-opening experience, and I considered film in the past, but I never really pursued it seriously. But after really jumping into that field, kind of just, throwing myself in, head first, I loved it. It was, my new favorite thing, and the thing that I really loved more than anything else. And that kind of blossomed, a real big creative urge in me that hasn't really died down since, and I don't think will ever die out. But, that next summer, I would be, starting my first year in the digital media workshops here in Barrie, and, again, probably one of the biggest things that really drive my urge to create forward and really provided me with the skill set that I needed to continue with this, whole excursion and this whole experience. But, that said, the films that I make and the things that I create, it was the same thing with storytelling for me as a kid, but I really lived through the things that I created. I really, expressed myself through, my kind of artistic process and the things that I made, maybe more so than anything else. And I feel like, more of me kind of comes out in the movies that I make and the things that I create, more so than maybe you might get from like a conversation or from a dialogue or something. When these ideas kind of come on the screen and, you're kind of watching these, silly little movies, or even just reading these little scripts that I write, it's more of an extension of a piece of me. That's a piece of me kind of on the screen there, more so that it is just kind of like some silly idea I came up with an afternoon, though it kind of is that too. But, again, I was never really social as a child, but I feel like film kind of broke that down for me and really allowed me to do things and, gain a kind of a newfound confidence I didn't really have before. And that was incredible for me. That was a real game changer. So, really just having that is more valuable to me than anything else. I've been going on here for about 8 minutes now. So to kind of close it out, someone who, generally speaking, was very unmotivated as a child and, someone who is kind of new to creative expression on a much larger scale, what I'd really say is it's never really too late to kind of break down that shell and really get out there and explore, the creative process, because, I think if anything, kind of people who join in later in the game have a lot more to offer, because I feel like creativity, a lot like a reservoir, those creative juices really pool up in you, and, it's a floodgate waiting to break. So I really don't see why you deprive yourself of that rather than just indulging on those, creative urges and kind of moving forward with that, using that to your advantage. Of course, it's not for everyone, and, there's a hierarchy to it as well. So it's, a lot of people are kind of intimidated by climbing that ladder to, using creativity as a drive for a career path. But, I would say that art in general is really a ground floor opportunity to pursuing, you know, self-fulfillment and, you know, really fulfillment of, you know, one's being. More so than anything else, I think it's probably the most rewarding thing that you can do for yourself, and probably the best thing that you could really, the best gift you can give yourself. So, kind of closing this out, you know, I've been going on here for a little while, but get out and make something today, because you really, you know, even if it's not, you know, the quality that you're hoping for it to be, you can only really improve with trial and error, and, you know, with every new thing, you're going to learn something, so I just don't see any reason not to. You know, do yourself a favor, you know, indulge a little bit, and get out and make something that you're proud of. Yeah, so that was my rambling. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off now, because it's around 1:10, and I'm very tired. Take it easy.